The French Revolution was one of the most pivotal events in world history, shaping not only France but the course of modern civilization. The streets of Paris were filled with intense emotion, from the fervor of revolutionary zeal to the dread of the guillotine's blade. For every citizen, the revolution brought uncertainty, fear, and hope, creating a world where survival depended on loyalty, suspicion, and survival instincts. Life during this time was far from ordinary, as families navigated a new order, uncertain of what each new day would bring. If you're fascinated by the complexities and hidden stories of this transformative period in history, make sure to subscribe to History Facts and Mysteries. By subscribing, you'll gain access to more gripping insights into history's most intriguing events and figures. Join us as we dive into the past and explore the mysteries that have shaped our world. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated on every new video. Morning in revolutionary Paris. The sun rises slowly over Paris, casting long shadows across the cobblestone streets. The early morning mist clings to the edges of buildings, wrapping the city in an eerie, uncertain silence. As dawn breaks, it seems to mark the passing of another day in a city teetering on the brink of collapse. It's a world that no longer feels familiar. The once proud, aristocratic capital of France is now a city of uncertainty, where every moment feels like it could tip the scales between order and chaos. The toll of the church bells pierces the morning air, but their sound is no longer one of spiritual comfort. The bells are reminders of a time long gone, a time when religion and monarchy were the foundations of French society. Now, in the midst of revolution, they signify the passing of time in an increasingly volatile world. The revolution is in full swing, and the winds of change blow through every corner of Paris. The streets are filled with whispers of rebellion, of the fall of the monarchy, and of the rising power of the common people. Every citizen knows that their world is being reshaped, but no one knows where the revolution will take them next. For many, the day begins with the harsh reality of hunger. The shortage of bread, once the staple food of the French people, has become one of the most visible symbols of the revolution's failure to meet the needs of the populace. Prices are sky high, and bread is often difficult to find. It's a cruel irony that, even in the heart of a revolution that promised to bring equality to the people, the poorest citizens are still struggling to survive. The early morning hours are spent waiting in line at the bakery, hoping that today will be the day they can buy a loaf of bread for their families. Families gather at the bakeries, their faces etched with worry and fatigue. They stand in long lines, anxiously waiting for the small chance that the bread will be available. When it is, they grab as much as they can, knowing that it may be their only meal of the day. It's a far cry from the feasts and abundance that the nobility once enjoyed, but it's all they can hope for. For those who are unlucky, they are left with nothing but empty hands and the growing fear that the situation will only worsen. The revolution promised a better life for the people, but for many, it feels as though it has only brought more suffering. The streets are filled with the sound of people talking, discussing the latest news and rumors. It's a time of extreme uncertainty, and the future seems more and more unclear with each passing day. The revolution, which began with the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, has spiraled into a time of violence, fear, and political upheaval. The monarchy is gone, and the old system has crumbled, but what has replaced it is no less chaotic. Life in the revolutionary streets. By mid-morning, the streets of Paris are in full swing. The market is bustling, but the sense of unease is palpable. Merchants shout their prices, trying to sell their wares, but the goods are few and far between. The market is a microcosm of the revolution itself, a place where everyone is trying to survive, trying to find a way to make it through the day. The old social structures have broken down, and the line between the working class and the aristocracy has been blurred. People who once lived in comfort and luxury are now among the masses, struggling to make ends meet. The former nobles, with their wealth and privilege, are now living in fear. They are hunted by the revolutionary mobs, desperate to prove their loyalty to the new regime and avoid the wrath of the revolutionaries. The revolution has changed everything, but for the common people, the change is not always for the better. The promise of a better future, of a society where all men are equal, seems increasingly distant. The working-class citizens, who were the backbone of the revolution, are still toiling away in the factories, the fields, and the streets, trying to scrape together a living. They work long hours for little pay, with the added stress of knowing that their work may not be enough to support their families. As you walk through the crowded streets, you are struck by the feeling that the city is constantly on the edge of an explosion. Revolutionary slogans are painted on the walls, and tricolored flags fly from windows, but they feel like empty symbols in the face of the very real struggles of daily life. The ideals of the revolution, liberty, equality, fraternity, seem increasingly disconnected from the reality of the street. The shops, once filled with luxuries, are now barely stocked. Merchants are cautious, only selling what little they have, fearing that any excess might attract the attention of the Revolutionary Guards. Midday in the heart of the revolution. As the day stretches into midday, the energy of the city shifts. The sounds of the streets become more frantic. Political fervor fills the air, and the air is thick with debate. People gather in cafes, on street corners, and in public squares to discuss the progress of the revolution, and the changes it is bringing to France. The French Revolution has ignited a fire within the hearts of the common people. They believe that they are part of something monumental, something that will change the world. But even among the revolutionaries, there is a sense of uncertainty. There are factions within the revolution, and no one is entirely sure who can be trusted. The reign of terror is in full swing, and the atmosphere is one of paranoia. Accusations of counter-revolutionary activities are rampant, and the revolutionary tribunals are eager to execute anyone who is deemed a threat to the new order. The guillotine stands in the public square, a symbol of both justice and fear. The streets are filled with rumors of upcoming purges, and people are nervous, watching their backs at all times. Even the most fervent supporters of the revolution are not immune to suspicion. It's a time when anyone, even your closest neighbor, can be a spy. As you walk through the streets, you see revolutionary guards on every corner, their eyes scanning the crowds. The committees of surveillance are everywhere, keeping track of everyone. The citizens are constantly aware of the dangers surrounding them. In the cafes, the discussions are heated. Some argue for more radical action, while others plead for caution. The revolutionaries are divided, and no one is sure how long the fragile unity of the revolution will last. For ordinary citizens, the political infighting is more than just a matter of ideology, it's a matter of survival. The outcome of the revolution could mean life or death. The streets are full of excitement, but also fear. The uncertainty of the future weighs heavily on everyone. Some citizens have become disillusioned with the revolution, questioning whether the promises of liberty, equality, and fraternity will ever be realized. Evening in revolutionary Paris. As the sun begins to set, the mood in Paris becomes more tense. The revolutionaries march through the streets, chanting revolutionary slogans, but the streets are also filled with a sense of foreboding. There is a heavy silence in the air, as if the city is holding its breath. The guillotine stands in the public square, ready for its next victim. The prisons are full, and the number of executions is rising daily. The revolution has claimed its own, and the streets are filled with the bodies of those who have been swept up in its violent tide. For ordinary citizens, the evening is spent in a mixture of fear and uncertainty. The sound of marching soldiers fills the air as the revolution's military enforcers take to the streets. They are everywhere, ensuring that no dissent goes unpunished. The people of Paris know that they are being watched at all times. Every word they speak, every action they take, could be misinterpreted. There is no room for dissent in revolutionary France. Anyone suspected of opposing the revolution is quickly arrested, tried, and executed. As night falls, the streets grow quieter, but the fear remains. The sound of the guillotine's blade falling is never far from anyone's mind. In the homes of ordinary citizens, families sit down to what little food they have left. They share their meager meals in silence, reflecting on the world that has changed so dramatically. The promises of a new, better France seem distant, and no one is sure if they will ever see that future. But for now, they survive. And that is all anyone can do. Nightfall. The dangers of the revolution. As night descends over Paris, the atmosphere shifts from the bustling tension of the day to a more sinister quiet. The streets are cloaked in darkness, with only the faint flicker of oil lamps offering any semblance of light. The usual vibrancy of the city has been replaced with an oppressive silence, broken only by the distant echoes of marching soldiers or the hurried footsteps of those who fear the night more than the day. In the shadows, a sense of dread settles over every corner of the city, as if the darkness itself is a reminder of the revolution's unrelenting grip. The revolution has transformed Paris into a city of both hope and terror, a place where the promise of liberty is shadowed by the ever-present fear of betrayal and death. The guillotine, once a tool of justice for criminals, has become the symbol of the revolution's merciless nature. It stands in the public square like a towering monument to the violence that has swept through France, its blade sharp and waiting. The once familiar landmarks of the city now seem foreign, marked by the scars of violent uprisings, the remnants of aristocratic estates looted and burned, and the lingering scent of gunpowder. The city's skyline may be the same, but the world it represents is unrecognizable. The royal family's fate is sealed, and their impending doom casts a long shadow over the people. King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette are imprisoned, awaiting their ultimate execution, but the fate of the common people is no less precarious. While some citizens cheer for the fall of the monarchy, others wonder whether the revolution will eventually devour them as well. The reign of terror is in full force, and no one is safe from suspicion. The lines between friend and enemy have become dangerously blurred. Neighbors who once exchanged pleasantries now eye each other with distrust, knowing that any word, any accusation, could lead to arrest. A single whispered rumor could send someone to the guillotine. In the homes of ordinary citizens, the threat of violence hangs over them like a dark cloud. Families sit in silence, eyes darting to the door at the slightest noise, wondering if tonight will be the night that the knock comes. The revolution's promise of liberty seems far away as they huddle together in their small, dimly lit homes. For many, sleep is a fleeting luxury. It's not just the fear of soldiers or the revolutionary tribunal. It's the fear of their neighbors, of their own actions, of saying the wrong thing in the wrong company. Even in their own homes, there's no refuge from the revolution's reach. The whisper of the guillotine's blade, the rattling of chains, is never far from their minds. The revolution has made paranoia a constant companion. People who were once free to speak openly are now cautious with their words. Conversations are held in hushed tones, and even the most basic interactions carry an underlying tension. In the marketplaces, the discussions of politics have grown quieter, more careful. The day's events are analyzed in secret, away from prying eyes, because everyone knows that anyone could be an informant. An accusation of treason can come from the unlikeliest of sources, someone you thought was your friend, someone you've known for years. For the women of Paris, the nights are especially fraught. Many of them have lost husbands, fathers, or brothers to the revolution's violence. Others live in constant fear of losing their loved ones to the guillotine, or worse, being accused themselves. Women in revolutionary Paris walk the fine line between activism and suspicion, as their roles in the revolution have been both celebrated and scrutinized. In the wealthier quarters, where the aristocracy once held sway, there is a different kind of fear. With the revolution came the confiscation of property, the looting of palaces, and the execution of those who held power. The former nobility now lives in hiding, fleeing Paris or trying to blend in with the commoners, hoping to escape the revolution's wrath. The distinctions between classes have blurred, and in the chaos, no one is exempt from suspicion. As midnight approaches, the city becomes even quieter. The revolutionary fervor of the day has given way to a more oppressive sense of resignation. People lock their doors, close their shutters, and retreat into the safety of their homes, trying to find peace in a world that has lost all semblance of stability. In the quiet of the night, as the citizens of Paris try to sleep, there's a collective, unspoken question that hangs in the air. What comes next? Will the revolution fulfill its promise of liberty, equality, and fraternity, or will it consume everything in its path, leaving only destruction in its wake? For many, the answer is still unknown. The revolution may have brought down the monarchy, but it has also ushered in an era of uncertainty and fear. It has torn apart the old order, but it has yet to build something new. If you found this glimpse into the life of a French Revolution citizen fascinating, don't forget to subscribe to History Facts and Mysteries. By subscribing, you'll gain access to more in-depth stories, hidden histories, and the untold truths that have shaped our world. Join us on this journey through time, one that uncovers the mysteries and truths of history that are still relevant today. Hit the bell icon to never miss an episode, and dive deeper into the past with us.